and welcome to Horror Rewind. This is Kelly Florence.
And I'm Meg Hofdahl.
And in episode 6,
Yay!
we're discussing Meg's pick, Dawn of the Dead. Meg has turned full zombie.
Oh my goodness. Okay, but first, before we talk about this, how are you, Kelly?
Well, I'm good, but I came into some drama when I got here today. So Meg has a story to tell.
Okay, so this is sort of like a horror movie story, I feel like. My husband last night, I asked him to get me a bottle of water. And he went and got me a bottle of water, like a good husband. And then he all of a sudden was bent over as though he was like gonna puke. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? Are you okay? And he wouldn't answer me. And I was like, honey, are you okay? Are you okay? And finally, he is like, oh my God, I just sucked the bottle cap off the water bottle down my throat. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? And he said he was trying to take it off with his teeth.
P.S. Don't do that.
Yeah, this is a 34-year-old man. He was trying to take it off his teeth, and he squeezed the bottle, and the bottle cap went all the way back, and he ingested it. Thankfully, he didn't choke on it, but he spent the entire day at the hospital today.
In misery.
In pain. He was in pain all night, and he has to go back in on Monday to get it removed from his stomach.
Because they don't think it'll pass.
No, so I feel like we all learned a lesson.
This is a public service announcement,
yeah, we're
people.
helping you. Don't open bottles with your mouth.
Well, and it's probably not good for your teeth anyway.
No.
And that could happen.
Right.
I was thinking it reminded me of the David Blaine trick with the bottle cap and... Or not a bottle cap. It was a bullet.
Same difference.
Bottle cap, yeah.
I'm sure when my husband's telling the story later, it'll
be a bullet. I caught a bullet in my teeth and accidentally swallowed it.
Yeah.
Oh, pain.
Yeah. So,
speaking of bullets, Meg.
Yes.
Let's talk about Dawn of the Dead. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Dawn of the Dead was my pick, and when we were coming up with this concept for this podcast, that was the movie that was just flashing in my head, because Dawn of the Dead is where it all started. That's where the little Meg...
It was your Night of the Living Dead for me.
Yeah, it was where I realized what was important to me in this world. And I realized there were movies out there that were like the inside of my brain.
Wow.
You know?
When did you first see it?
I don't know exactly the age, but I recall watching it on repeat when I was about 8.
So on video?
Yes, I would go. This is the movie that I would go and get almost every weekend. I had my little fanny pack I would wear with my allowance in it, and I would go to Blockbuster, and I'd make sure they had Dawn of the Dead first, and then look for other things.
Oh,
I was like,
so
okay,
awesome.
I got Dawn of the Dead. Now what else is out? So, yeah, this movie, and what was so cool watching it was seeing how much influence it's had on my career.
Oh yeah,
like on
Meg is a horror writer.
Yes. Yeah. There's a story I wrote called Dust. That's a zombie. It's kind of a zombie. It's my take on zombies. I was really hesitant to write a zombie short story, and my dad and my husband were both like, because they know how much I love Dawn of the Dead and zombies, they were like, you've got to do it. So I wrote a story called Dust, and I realized watching this movie, because I have not seen it in a very long time, how much influence I took from that. But it's so funny how you don't see those influences from childhood
these
until
things just become part of us, and we didn't even know.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, can you tell us some of the history about the movie itself? Like, when did it come out?
Oh, okay. Hold on. All my notes. I'm never organized. Kelly is the organized one.
It's okay.
She always has her notes out perfectly, and I'm a mess. Okay. So I'm just gonna read this because why not? Dawn of the Dead, unlike many other gory horror staples of its time, has received acclaim from film reviews since its initial release. So Dawn of the Dead actually had good ratings from the very beginning.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's actually 92% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
Nice.
And in 1978, when the movie came out, it was, basically revered. In fact, even Roger Ebert liked it. So that's saying something. And obviously, it's directed by George Romero, who directed Night of the Living Dead. And I guess a sequel of sorts. I mean, I wouldn't really call. I mean, it's
Right.
kind of a sequel, I
Right.
guess.
But it's a different time era. So.
It's a different time era, and there's no characters, as far as I know, that are the same. It's been called one of the best horror films ever made. While conceding Dawn of the Dead to be gruesome, sickening, disgusting, violent, brutal, and appalling, Roger Ebert said that nobody ever said art had to be in good taste.
Ah.
So, let's see, what else? Let's see. Oh, companion. It says here companion film. I like that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And it's saying that in some articles I read, and there's a great article, and I'm gonna post it on our Facebook page. It's called "Why Dawn of the Dead Still Matters," and it was written by somebody. It's at comingsoon.net, and I wrote his name down, but I can't remember who the writer was. But it was a great article about why Dawn of the Dead is still relevant today, and basically it's talking about how it's Dawn of the Dead that is really the one that movies like 28 Days and Resident Evil and Walking Dead, all that stuff, that they are really copying Dawn of the Dead.
We should mention 28 Days Later, not the Sandra Bullock movie.
28 Days Later! Isn't that an Office joke? When she's like, I rented 28 Days later, and she thought I was 28 Days.
Like,
but we would be the opposite, where we would watch 28 Days Later, and then we would accidentally get the Sandra Bullock. Okay. Anyway, so yes, it has a great history, and it's such an important movie, and it did well. It made money. Oh, I know what I thought was interesting is that it basically how it came about. It came about in 1974. The movie came out in 78. In 74, George Romero was invited by a friend named Mark Mason to Monroeville Mall, and he was just showing him around. And he was showing him kind of like hidden parts of the mall. And he said that anyone could survive there in the mall if there was ever an emergency. Oh. And then that's what clicked in George Romero's head. And I just think it's cool because the creative process is like that, where you're not expecting like something to kind of slap you in the face. And he was like, whoa, I have a good idea. So that's kind of the background of Dawn of the Dead.
So this movie starts and it's chaos. And I think that that's the real problem in a zombie apocalypse, or any apocalypse for that matter. It's just other people's stupidity or their unwillingness to help or do the right thing. Mm-hmm. That's what the problem is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, this movie starts out so much different than Night of the Living Dead, where it's kind of this, like, slow kind of beginning. Well, not that... I mean, Night of the Living Dead did start off pretty quickly, but it's kind of this nice, idyllic landscape. And this instead is like in the heat,
the midst of chaos.
Oh yeah, chaos has already started. And I wrote "woman working now, world is changing!" ! And then I wrote "pants!" !
Oh yes,
because I think what was kind of cool to see was where the world had changed in just 10 years from 1968 to 1978. Because I found myself kind of comparing it to Night of the Living Dead as I was watching it. Yeah, you're right. It's like, you know, we talk about Walking Dead a lot on this, and because it's such a great show, and that's such a big part of it is the human aspect of it. It's like that's
we know how to
the
defeat
problem.
We know how to defeat the zombies, but how do we get along with each other?
Exactly.
So I did not see this movie until I was older, in my late teens, early 20s, and so I don't have the childhood memories of it, but it doesn't mean I don't love it and appreciate it. I think it's brilliant, and I love the setup, and I wish I had seen it when I was younger, because I used to imagine like sleeping over at the mall, or like the mall being your house, and like how you would change everything.
Oh my god!
And so this is like a little kid's dream to think about it.
It's kind of like how we were talking last week about The Shining. It's like kind of wanting to live in the Overlook. Like, I would just dream about what it would be like to live in a mall. Yeah. So, oh my god, it's so neat. One thing I wrote down in the beginning part, I wrote eager men with guns.
Yeah.
That was something that we saw in Night of the Living Dead, and he showed again in this movie.
Yep.
And this eager man with a gun was racist, and he used racist language, and I thought that was interesting.
Yes, that's a nice through line there.
Yeah.
Oh, when they're getting into the helicopter, and the guy asks them if they have cigarettes, and they don't share.
Yeah.
And it's just a nice little moment, and kind of showing everybody becomes more selfish and preservatory.
If you're self-preserving.
And we're both college graduates.
Yeah. Okay. What? Oh, the zombie room in the apartment. Okay. So
Wait.
I'm like going to the whole apartment raid,
Oh, okay,
like
yes,
in the
yes,
beginning.
yes.
Still, the writhing zombie
Oh my
room.
gosh,
I
yes.
love it. And something that I remember so vividly as a kid is the one where, in the apartment where the woman hugs the guy and he bites her
Yes,
shoulder,
yes,
and
yes.
the blood is like this neon red blood, and I remember just being like, "Whoa!"
It's just
that's
a chunk, and a
so
chunk is
cool.
gone.
A chunk is just gone. Yeah, I love that.
Oh,
Okay,
so good.
so let's talk about. Well, actually, I was gonna say let's talk about the mall, but actually, there's that great part.
Oh, the gas station.
Yes,
the kids zombies.
The kids.
Again.
I forgot about the kids. That was cool.
That is a scene that always stuck out to me, and
Really?
I remembered that. And then there's the scene when the guy turns at the end, and he's sitting up, and you know that he has died.
Oh, yeah.
It's like those two scenes, those little kids coming out from that door, and that guy sitting, are just etched in my brain.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I forgot. I remember when I was watching it this time, there was like the wrestling in there. I'm like, okay, there's a zombie in there, but I just forgot that it was kids. So that was actually like a delightful little surprise when they came out. And also I love when I'm gonna call him Ken Foray. I can't think of what his name is in the movie. Do you know the main?
I can't think of his name either.
Well, anyway, Ken Foray. When he. And I said he evokes Night of the Living Dead because he's African American like Ben, but he's also very similar where he's stoic and he takes charge.
Right.
I felt like their personalities were very similar. But who is the other guy? Steve.
Yeah, Steven.
Steve. He like points a weapon at him and shoots, trying to get a zombie, but he like sucks at life.
Well, and when he's shooting in the machinery area, like with all those machinery, he's just an idiot.
He's an idiot.
And they're wasting bullets because
oh my
if you
god,
don't shoot
I
a zombie in the head,
too.
don't waste
I'm like,
your bullets.
please stop. But anyway, there's that great moment where Ken Foray comes out and he's pointing his gun at Steven, and it's just basically like, get a grip, dude.
Yeah. Something about this movie that I think the Night of the Living Dead didn't have is they have this bit of humor, and they have the right amount of humor, like the zombies on the escalators.
Oh
and
my
just,
gosh, with the music.
yeah, and just silly stuff like that. It's like a nice reprieve from the horror of the situation.
Yes.
And Night of the Living Dead, I can't think of a funny moment in that movie.
No, that's a pretty earnest
But
movie. Yeah.
Dawn of the Dead, it has a
Oh
little
my
bit
gosh.
of comedy, and it's the right amount. It's not over the top.
Something we talked about with Night of the Living Dead, and I think this is what I was talking about a little bit with the inspiration I'd had in my writing, are that the zombies in Dawn of the Dead are different than zombies of today still, in
Right.
that there's one sitting in the fountain playing with coins.
Yes.
There's one like dragging a mannequin around.
Yeah, and they're like trying to interact and do things still. And I don't
Yes.
think that zombies now do that in movies.
No, because at one point, of course, there's the great quote, when there's no room in hell, the dead will walk the
Right.
earth. But they're talking even earlier in the movie of like, why are the zombies here? And he's like, because they have this like calling to be here. And I was like, that is so fucking cool.
And
like, I just love that idea that there's like that human aspect of them still,
Yes.
and like they want to go to the mall because like that's where they used to go. I just love
Yes,
that.
and well, that ties into a more recent horror zombie movie, The Warm Bodies, which is an update of Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah,
But that too, that they do things because it's in their memory, or like kinesthetic memory, or somewhere.
I love that.
So that's an interesting take on it.
Like that.
Oh, speaking of zombie with the mannequins, when they're trying to get the stuff, and that one zombie like pops out from the mannequins.
Wait, I'm trying to remember, which part is that?
They're going from one floor to the next. This is when
Okay.
Steve's being an idiot.
Yeah,
And
of course.
All of a sudden, like the zombie pops out, and you didn't know he was there.
Yeah.
It reminded me in high school, I was a still model for a couple of stores
You
in
were?
my local mall. So
I did not know that.
you dressed in clothes that were available in the store, and you pretended to be a mannequin somewhere in the store.
Oh my god, I didn't know you
And
did that.
it was not for the purpose of jump scares. It was like to be advertised and like, oh, people come by and see if they can make you blink or see if you can blink. But they didn't necessarily advertise well. So we were just sitting in the store, and sometimes people would come up and touch you saying you looked super real, and then like usually touch your face.
Oh.
And then if you moved, or they would jump. It was fascinating.
Oh, funny.
Also with that job, I got to dress up as a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
I did not hear this. This is really interesting.
I
I've
have
never heard
I have
this.
a picture
Do
of
you-
this.
Oh, good.
I'll tweet it. But
Wow.
I was like not the age to have watched it, so I didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
And all these kids kept asking me for my autograph, but I didn't know who I was.
Oh,
so,
funny.
So I'm like, do you know my name? And they all told me somebody different, so they didn't even know who I was.
They didn't care.
So I was like, I think I was signing Michelangelo or Donatello or
funny. I was the age where I was always frustrated because I had to be April. Like,
oh yeah,
all the
when you had
boys
to play.
I just had to be April. It was not cool. Anyway.
So that was a little side note about
I like
the
that.
mannequin.
I didn't know that. That's really cool. Okay, so something that, and actually I'm jumping back a little bit. Something that has stuck in my mind forever, and I talk about this quite a bit because I have a little bit of a fear of it, and I think it's from this, is the helicopter blade.
Oh.
When it hits the zombie's head. See, when I was a kid, there was just something about that really like upset me. Not because I like the zombie, but just the visual of it.
Yeah.
And to this day, like, I do not like helicopters. I don't like the idea of being near blades or anything like that. Like, it just freaks me out.
It's not. I mean, you know that it's a danger, but you can't necessarily even see it.
Exactly. It's like you can't even see it. You're walking toward. I mean, there was that woman that happened to. I mean, like in real life, guys. And
yeah,
it's so funny though because when I saw it in the movie this time when I was watching it, it was such a kind of like not a big deal. Like
right.
it was just
it's very
like
subtle.
Yeah, it's like a subtle thing. So it's just fascinating what sticks in our head. In fact, Faith on Instagram, actually, when I put up something about Dawn of the Dead, she said, we were asking fans, like, what do you remember? What are your VHS memories of Dawn of the Dead? And she said the helicopter buzz cut zombie is how she put it. And she also said Francine's wardrobe, which I thought was funny.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, so she was not the only, I mean, I wasn't the only one who was like, oh, the helicopter blade. Anyway, so yeah, it's funny what sticks in your head. Yeah, there's so many great, like, just moments. And of course, a lot of people say this movie is George Romero's sort of take on consumerism and I think there are a lot of little winks in this movie about that. I mean, there's this idea that they have, once they're in the mall and they start to get comfortable there, they have so much stuff. Like even their little apartment upstairs just has so much stuff in it, and they have the ability to take everything. And there's just these little great moments. I love all the shopping scenes because
me too.
As a kid it was just like, oh my god, and I love it now too, but as a kid it was just like, oh my gosh, can you imagine just going into
having free
store?
reign.
Also, I just enjoyed seeing what a JCPenney looked like in 1978.
Oh yes,
you know?
It's fascinating. I love it. And okay, can I just say, this group of people, I mean, especially the military guys, they have this planned out. They have such a good plan. They move these trucks. They're going to block the entrances. Like, everything is so brilliant, but of course it doesn't go perfectly.
Then it would be a bad movie, I guess.
Well, yeah, I guess that'd be boring. I would still watch.
Yeah, I would still watch them just live in there. I mean, that would be ideal, right? In zombie apocalypse, you would stay in there, right? Would
Absolutely.
you leave?
No.
Me neither. I'd be like, we're good. You know what bothered me though? One scene is they had all these dead zombies and they put them in the freezer with the food.
Yeah, no. That's
I was like,
not great.
no, don't do that. Don't do that. That's just gross. Oh, okay. Steven, I wrote douchebag. He leaves his. I know she's not his wife. I'm just gonna say wife. He leaves his girl without a gun, like several times.
Idiot. And he goes and he leaves her just undefended, and he doesn't even know what's going on. It's like,
no.
dude.
I love the part when she's like, I'm not going to be your dead mother. Do you remember that part?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool. She's
So
just like, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah, she doesn't necessarily start off as the strongest character, but she gets stronger, and we get to see that evolution of her character, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, the fact that she's pregnant could have sort of made things delicate, where she could have been like, oh, I'm gonna lay up here and do nothing, but she really wanted to be involved with like all the action and the plans and everything. So I think she definitely made up for maybe some of Barbara's bad habits in the first one. I'm looking at my notes. I wrote love zombies on escalator. Oh, I wrote diverse zombies.
Yes, that I've noticed there's so much diversity in this movie, especially, of course, compared to Night of the Living Dead 10 years earlier, but even other movies of that era and the current era, we're looking for diversity.
Is it Hare Krishna? Is that
Yeah,
how you say
Hare
it?
Krishna,
Hare
yeah.
Krishna? Is that
That
the
one,
kind of
yes,
zombie?
yes,
And he like
yes.
gets upstairs and he's like grabbing at her and
Yeah.
she's climbing up. That's
And he's
great.
got his tambourine on. It's really
yeah,
really
I love how
clever.
they thought of all these different zombies. Okay, let's see. Oh, I wrote pregnant and smoking 70s
Yes,
exclamation
of course.
point. They didn't even think. Oh, and at one point, it's Ken Foray's character. What is his name? Peter. No, yeah, Peter. I wrote Peter and Roger.
Okay.
Roger
yes,
is
yes,
the
yes.
other guy. Okay, Peter. Peter claims he knows how to do an abortion.
I
Did
know,
you hear
right?
that?
Yeah.
I was like, he's like, well, do you want this baby or you want to keep this baby? I can abort it. I'm like, really?
Maybe in Vietnam, Meg, it was tough times.
I was like, okay, that's really weird.
I don't know. I'm just making up his backstory.
No, you should. Oh, hockey playing zombies.
Yes.
Thank you. Please, we need more. Please, on Walking Dead, can we have some
Some
hockey playing zombies?
Well, and just funny zombie. Like, what would you be doing when you became a zombie?
Yeah. What would be funny?
Maybe, well, I was going to say at this point in the world, well, who knows? No, they could be doing anything still.
Well, yeah, because they could just be really rotted because it happened a while ago. What we've got to come up with like some
Podcasting zombies.
podcasting zombies. Oh, okay. I wrote quote. She says, "I would have made you all breakfast, but I don't have all my pots and pans." She was all snarky because they like were getting up and treating her like den mother.
Yeah.
And I just loved how she was like not gonna take
Yeah.
it. You know, that was great.
That would be difficult to be stuck with the guys.
Does she know her boyfriend's a dick, or like is he a dick, or is he just a coward, or like what? How would you characterize Steven?
I think he's a dick. I think he's selfish. I think he's just looking out for himself, basically, and her, kind of, but not really. I don't know. I don't like him.
I agree. And I mean, she basically told him in so many words when it's the fucking zombie apocalypse, and she still wouldn't get engaged to him.
Yeah, right?
That was great.
Okay, that's the ultimate burn.
Yeah, I mean, like he's probably one of the last few men on Earth, and they're stuck in a mall, and she's pregnant with his child, and she's like, "No, I'm good."
Okay, she's my hero.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, I wrote they don't like fire like Frankenstein's monster. Did you notice the zombies like were
Yeah.
like getting away from the fire?
In the first movie too.
Yep, you're right. Okay, what did you think about like the biker gang?
I hate that biker gang coming in
Yeah.
and ruining their utopia. It
I
always makes
know.
me so mad.
It's so pointless.
I know,
Like,
what are they
don't
doing?
Do that. I mean, it's like okay if you want to like come in and be in the mall with us, like they could have like negotiated
Yeah.
something maybe, but like
just taking it over
God.
for the sake of it, or letting all the zombies in, and they're those idiots. It
I
makes me so
know.
upset.
and of course one of them is played by Tom Savini, who
Yes.
have
the
we
makeup.
did we ever meet him at a con?
I feel like
I
we
feel
have.
like
Now that sounds very.
yeah, we're sounding. I mean, I don't know if we actually met him, but we might have walked by him or something.
We've probably seen him.
Yeah.
He's just sort of. I feel like I've known of and watched so many Tom Savini
Yes.
makeup movies that he's done the makeup in, and then that he's been in, and
Oh my gosh, yeah.
he's a legend.
He is a legend. I'm looking for something in my notes. You talk because I'm looking for something.
Well, okay, when I'm kind of skipping ahead, but when you, what did we decide his name was?
Peter.
When Peter has to kill his friend, that is the worst, because he just know that he's going to turn into a zombie.
Oh.
And then-
Roger.
and then he has to kill him,
Roger's
and
so
then-
cute.
And then then of course later he's contemplating taking his own life, but he decides to live, and then that's the best because he's going to continue fighting.
Yes, that is so. Actually, that is great because that's what I was going to talk about. According to the original screenplay, and I'm reading this off Wikipedia. Okay, people. Peter and Francine were to kill themselves. Peter by shooting himself, and Fran by sticking her head into the path of the rotating main helicopter
No
blades.
way, not again. So that is a reoccurring theme.
The ending credits would run over a shot of the helicopter blades turning until the engine winds down, implying that the two would not have gotten far if they had
No.
chosen to escape. During production, it decided to change the ending of the film.
Okay, good. I like the ending.
Like if she had stuck her head
No.
into the helicopter blade, this pregnant woman,
No,
like
no.
what? And he was supposed to kill himself. Well, I did think that was odd when he had that suicidal moment, but then he was like, never mind.
Yeah.
And like that was such a great moment when he. So I'm really glad that they got to get away, and it wasn't as bleak as Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, I agree. I think the mall was a perfect setting for this zombie movie.
Oh my gosh.
Where
yes.
else would you like to see a zombie movie set, and where would be a bad place to have one set? What do you think?
Oh, good questions. Where would I want to see one set? Oh my gosh. A convention.
Oh yeah.
Like a Walker Stalker con.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
It's
It's like, are you a
con?
zombie?
Yeah.
Well, okay, our first Walker Stalker, there were so many people dressed as zombies, and some people are really in character, and they're like dragging a leg or whatever, or like some people are crawling, and I'm like, this would be the perfect time for a zombie apocalypse to actually happen, because we don't know
We would
if
just
they're
be
really
like,
zombies.
la-di-da-di-da.
We're like, nice cosplay.
Yeah.
Ah! As we get bit.
Yeah. And where would be a bad place for one?
Oh, you know what? I was just thinking a nice place for a zombie movie to be set would be a cruise ship. Wouldn't that be cool?
Okay, let's write it.
Okay, yep, we're gonna. That'll be our next movie.
Yeah,
everybody.
nobody take it. Nobody take our idea.
Where would it would be boring to be set? Where?
I mean, somewhere where there's no people, or somewhere where there's people we don't care about.
The White House. Just kidding. They've done plenty of White House down kind of movies. I guess they're not zombie, but
yeah. I don't know. Everywhere is a good place.
I can't actually think of a bad place. Because I was like, oh, a place where there's just a family on a farm. Actually, no, that's still good.
That's still good. Like there's nothing like it could work anywhere. Underwater, zombies underwater.
Well, okay, maybe scuba diving. People, I don't know.
Why don't they have scuba diving zombies?
There could be.
There could be.
Why
Where are
aren't
they? Representation, people.
We want more scuba diving zombies. Okay, I'm sure that there's a movie on the Sci-Fi Channel of that, right?
We're gonna search. Somebody, if you know of a scuba diving zombie movie, please.
Or just a scuba diving zombie in general, like in a movie.
Literally just, I want to see that, please. Okay. What else? Is there anything else we need to, oh gosh, I wrote some really heavy themes down. I wrote this looks like my notes from college. I wrote logical / rational versus emotional. Okay. Like whatever.
What are you
I wrote
talking
consumerism
about?
and excess. Like I swear to God, I thought this was a flashback.
So you know what was funny about this? The note taking for this movie for me was that I got so into it I forgot to take notes, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's funny. You know, that's kind of it was reversed for me last week for The Shining. I barely took any notes, and this time I took 3 or 4 pages of notes. Yeah. So it's just funny how that happens.
Right.
I said it doesn't pass the Bechdel test.
I know it doesn't.
It doesn't. You guys, it doesn't.
But
I mean, she was a great character. I felt like Francine got to have some pretty cool moments. But yeah, it doesn't pass the Bechdel test, so that's kind of disappointing. And I so every time now I'm watching it, I start IMDbing people.
Yeah, I do that too.
So Galen Ross, who plays Francine, she actually was only in 3 movies.
Wow.
But she became a documentary filmmaker, so I thought
great.
that was kind of cool. So you guys should check her out. And then Kem Foray, who plays Peter, he was basically the only one who's gone on to continue with a career. The other 2 were in very minimal movies as well.
Okay.
So I thought that was kind of interesting.
I'm going to ask you some questions,
Okay,
and we can come back. But when's the last time you watched this movie before this rewatch?
I think I made my husband watch it when we were probably in our early 20s.
So it's been a while.
A while, yeah.
It's been forever.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, what do you mean? I'm only 22.
So did it live up to your memories of it? I mean, this is ingrained in your brain.
It's ingrained in my brain. It lived up to my memories. It's a fantastic horror movie. I love it.
I agree. Did any scene stand out to you in this rewatch? Was it the...
Oh, that's a good question. Francine rejecting his proposal.
Yeah, that's great, right?
When I was a kid, I was just like, what's happening? I don't care. Let's get back to the other stuff.
No,
but as a grown woman, I was just like, oh, I love it.
That is a strong moment.
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
A scene that you didn't remember?
Well, I did say I didn't remember the kids coming through the thing and that they
Yeah.
were kid zombies. And then they I thought it was
Oh.
really effective how he shot them and they didn't show them when he shot them, but
Yes.
then they did go back and show one rolling
You
off
know
the
what?
couch or
You know what I
something.
feel like, because I used to own this on VHS and then I think I owned a different copy. I think that scene might have been a deleted scene that they put in later copies. So maybe that's why you don't remember
I don't remember it because I was watching the director's cut this
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
and so maybe
But
that is
but
why.
I remember that scene because when I saw it, I was watching the director's cut,
Oh,
or
okay.
I had deleted scenes
Isn't
on
that
my
funny?
special features or something.
Yeah,
So
there's gonna be stuff like that probably. Yeah,
how did the movie age? What do you think?
I think it aged well. Yes, it's 1978. You can't get past that.
But it's almost amazing because
Yeah.
it's 1978.
Yeah. I mean, it's all the more impressive.
We said it did not pass the Bechdel test.
No,
It was it scary to you then? Is it still scary to you now?
you know, I wouldn't say it's not the same kind of thing where it's like I'm that feeling that I had when I watched The Shining. But that doesn't take away any love I have for it.
Yeah.
It's scary in sort of a creeping, slow, different way. It's not the same kind of scary, but it is scary, but not like I'm gonna poop my pants scary.
Right. You know, something about this movie, watching it then and now, I just have a little, like, a feeling in the pit of my stomach when I watch this movie, and it's just this impending doom. You just know.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it does
Mhm.
kind of have a happy ending, it's just, you have to go through all this stuff. And even though there's some light comedy, it's still like,
Oh yeah, I think you care about these. You come to
Yeah.
care about these characters. When Roger, like you were talking about this before, when he comes up out of bed as a zombie,
God.
oh my god, that's a scary
Yeah,
part. Like
yeah.
I'm thinking
That
of that now, and I'm
image.
like, oh my god, that is so scary. And then you're like, why didn't he just kill him before that?
I know, 'cause
Like,
he's
he was
obviously
in
gonna
pain,
turn.
And yeah.
Ugh. Anything else you want to say about Dawn of the Dead?
You guys, if you have not seen Dawn of the Dead, you need to. And also, I do want to say the remake that came out in 2004 is actually really good too.
It is. You know,
Yeah.
as I was mentioning last week with the Evil Dead remake and reboot, I did not mind the Dawn of the Dead remake. It didn't bother me. I mean, I still thought it was a good movie, and I wasn't like one of the fans who was like, I'm gonna protest.
No. I mean, I went to it and I was there front row. I wanted to see this because Dawn of the Dead was such an important movie to me as a kid. And I thought it did a really great job of evoking the first one, but being its own movie and doing its own
like
thing.
having the guy
So-
in the building across the way where they were communicating
Yeah,
with and
that
everything.
was cool.
That was
It was
interesting.
female driven, which was
Yeah.
really nice. Yeah. So if you guys haven't seen the original 1978 Dawn of the Dead, you need to, and also the 2004.
Hello, welcome to our mixology segment for Horror Rewind. Lisa, how is it in New York?
Callie, it is pretty great. It's a little rainy this morning, but it's New York. You know, I'm okay with it. Sometimes it's a good way to clean the city, start over.
That's a good way of looking at it. So positive. And yes, in Minnesota, it hasn't snowed in a while. It is May. You know, you never know. We don't put our winter coats away for a while because we're always waiting.
No, I really was just looking through my time hop the other day, and it was like, look, snow from my motherland, because I was up visiting grandma, and yeah, it was like early May, snow on the ground. I'm like, this is what it does.
Yes, exactly. Listeners, we hope wherever you are, the weather is nice. This week we talked about Dawn of the Dead, and what did you create for us?
Well, I was inspired by the fact that this is set in a mall, right? Like, we're just going to hole ourselves up in this mall. Full disclosure, this is the one I was maybe a little afraid to watch, so I turned to Wikipedia.
That's fine.
Like a coward. And so it really was like, what do we love at the mall? What's a staple? And then I thought of the Orange Julius.
Yes.
That was just a joy and a treat to get back as a child. Like, oh my God, wow! Like, can I have all the sugar and will you blend it with juice? Thank you.
Now, are they still around? Do you know?
Orange Julius has been actually bought up by Dairy Queen,
Oh.
a Minnesota local company. So yes, they're around. I don't know if they're everywhere anymore, but they definitely are still around.
Okay, yeah. So listeners, if you don't know this, Orange Julius used to be at least a mall staple. You would see one in every mall, and you could come and get this delicious drink. So tell us how to make it.
Great. So this week's cocktail I'm calling Dawn of the Dead Orange Bullet. We are going to, as I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I want to help you grow a bar. And so we're going to turn back to our bullet bourbon again this week. Again, because the bullet will stop the undead. And here we go. So for this drink, you are going to need, as mentioned, bullet. You will need some milk. Whole milk or 2% is probably ideal. You'll need vanilla extract. You'll need 1 6-ounce can of frozen orange juice concentrate. You'll need a half a cup of sugar and about 2 cups of ice. And then a blender. We will again this week be using a lowball glass for our cocktail, so you'll need one of those as well. And now to make this drink, we are going to pretty much put everything into the blender, except for the bullet. Don't do that first.
Okay.
But go ahead and put the milk, the vanilla, the frozen orange juice, the sugar, and the ice in that blender. If it gets a little thick at times, maybe add a little more milk. Sometimes, blenders can be finicky. But go ahead and blend that up into just an orange vanilla-y dream until, it's pretty fine or you have a little bit of like ice chunks left. Is perfect. This is going to make probably enough for about 4 servings, so get ready. Go ahead, take that blended magic, pour it into your cup, and then I'm going to have you take 1.5 ounces of bullet and pour that in right on top and give it a little stir. And you have yourself a Dawn of the Dead Orange Bullet.
Oh, nice. So how does this one taste? Is it sweet? Can you taste the bullet?
Oh, yes. Again, I'm going to trick you into liking bourbon, everyone. If you don't already. I've more recently become obsessed with it, so I'm going to ease you all into it.
So, yeah.
But yeah.
A little disclosure here. Lisa lived in Kentucky for a year in Louisville, and you became sort of a bourbon connoisseur. Is that what you would say?
Yeah, I would say like entry-level connoisseur.
Okay.
Definitely tried to go to as many distilleries. I think I went to like 9 or 10.
Nice.
Just obsessively loved it. But yeah, this drink, it's sort of like if you've never had an Orange Julius, think of like an orange creamsicle. And then it's just got a little hint of spice with it, and oof.
That sounds amazing.
That's really good.
Well, one of these nights, Meg and I said we're going to get together since we're all in different places, but we're going to get together and make these drinks. And ours probably won't turn out as beautifully as yours, but we're going to learn.
No, it's all about trial, error, mess, and good times. Like, yeah, enjoy it.
Okay, awesome. And where can we find you on social media?
Lisa Ann Bowl on Instagram, and my website's lisabowl.com.
Okay, awesome. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, next up we have our fast forward segment. And this week I am venturing out a bit away from the horror genre, and I want to recommend something to our listeners and to Meg.
Uh-oh. Okay.
I am recommending, dun dun dun, The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu. Have you started watching this yet?
No, I'm still watching Feud because you did that for a fast forward. Okay, now it's Kelly's
Betty
Davis. Betty Davis says, "Do not stop watching Feud."
Okay.
Things are falling apart here.
I think the ghost of Betty
Okay,
Davis is here this
yes,
week. Robin
yes.
Williams was last week. Okay, but let me tell you about The Handmaid's Tale.
Okay.
So I read this novel. I took a science fiction literature class in college, and I was assigned this book, and I loved it.
Okay.
And so when I found out they were making a TV series, because I not every book translates to a movie length.
Yeah.
And a lot of books are, and you have to cut out a lot, and it's okay, but this 10 episode series for a book, this is perfect. I'm so excited. They released the first 3 episodes, and I watched them all in a row. I couldn't help myself. It's so good. It's so well done. I'm not going to give anything away because I want you to watch it and go in fresh. But Elizabeth Moss from, you might know her from Mad Men or Top of the Lake. She is brilliant. She reminds me of a young Gillian Anderson, or younger. And Elizabeth Moss is older now. Meg, there's so many women in it. You won't even know what to do. And the story, the filmmaking, I love it. I recommend it.
I know nothing. Like, I don't know anything about it.
So you haven't read the book?
it, and I basically know it's like kind of like post-apocalyptic sort of world. That's all I know.
Don't find out anything else. Just watch it.
Oh,
I'm so excited.
I almost am like upset that it's on Hulu because now they're gonna make us wait every week. But you said they have the first.
The first 3 episodes are up, and then every Wednesday they'll release another episode.
Okay.
But yes, I know it's binge worthy. Absolutely.
I'm so excited. Well, by the time I finish Feud, I'm afraid what's gonna happen when I say that.
Betty,
are you here? Are you here? Yes, that's my next. I promise. I'm gonna watch it. It sounds amazing. Who else is in it?
I have been IMDbing the crap out of the show because all these people are vaguely familiar, but there's nobody huge.
Okay.
So,
okay, interesting.
and I think that's okay. Well,
Yeah.
Alexis Bledell's in it. I mean, to some people, she's huge because she's a Gilmore Girl.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool.
But
That's
I don't want to give anything else away. So this is sort of a vague fast forward segment. But another
I
thing,
want to watch you try to relate this to Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, okay.
How is Handmaid's Tale related to Dawn of the Dead?
There's pregnancy.
Oh, spoiler alert!
and female empowerment and or lack of empowerment.
And it's kind of like a world that's changed, right, or something.
Yeah.
I'm helping.
No, I was thinking, how related does my fast forward segment have to be?
It doesn't need to be related. It needs to be something you're excited about. And you clearly, you seem excited.
And this, can I say, within the first, and I'm building it up now too much, but within
the best television series that ever
well,
was on TV?
Let me just say, within the first 5 minutes, I cried.
Oh my God.
And in every episode, I have had tears.
Wow.
And it's about, again, female friendship. This seems to be a reoccurring theme that I'm bringing up, but my goodness. The other thing, now I'm changing the subject. Speaking of female friendship, yes. I saw Wicked for the first time, and I had no idea the musical, by the way. I saw Wicked the musical, and I had no idea, you guys. I had no idea. It's about female friendship.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, that's my plug for this week. I don't even know. I'm overwhelmed.
I know. This is great. I think this is all good suggestions. You guys, we're telling you all this good stuff to watch. So go watch it.
And you know what? Recommend things to us because, I love it when people can recommend a good book or movie or TV show to me because then I know, especially trusted opinions, you don't have to start a book that you're not going to love, or you don't have to search on Netflix for 3 hours to find something to watch. We're giving you the suggestions, you're giving them to us, so let's share.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to wait, no, you talk.
No, I was just gonna start I was like gonna start talking about TV shows, but I feel like if I go down that rabbit hole, it's like I like want to talk about Bates Motel, but I feel like we should save it.
Yeah, let's talk about it when we talk about Psycho.
Okay. I want to talk about
I'm cutting you off, Meg. In more ways than one.
Okay.
Stop drinking.
This is an intervention.
So we need to do our rating scale. And
I'm glad you remember that. I literally forget every time.
And so we're going to talk about elevator zombies. It's a zombie on an elevator. Yeah, with the music. And that could just be a GIF playing in my head over and over.
Yeah.
Like the Homer Simpson, what he thinks of when they show his brain. On a scale of 0 to 10 elevator zombies, what do you rank Dawn of the Dead?
I'm going to Spinal Tap this bitch and say 11.
Oh! Okay, I'm going to turn up my volume. No. Okay, so that's great. I would give it a 9. But it's not. Oh, are you? She's going to kill me. Just because it wasn't ingrained in my
No,
childhood.
I understand.
Like,
I'm giving it 11 because it was like my doorway into this life.
Yeah.
This horror
yeah.
life. This horror life coming
Nice.
this fall.
That's the title of your memoir.
Yeah.
Okay, and now I know you haven't seen The Handmaid's Tale, but have you seen a trailer or anything?
Nope.
Well,
I know
just based on my
nothing.
excitement of it,
Yeah.
how would you rank Elevator Zombies, The Handmaid's Tale?
I would rank
how
it-
would you rank my excitement of
I
it?
would rank. Well, I would rank your excitement a Spinal Tap 11.
Yes.
So yeah, I would. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm not spinal tapping it, but I'm giving it a 10 because
Good.
I'm ranking it on Elevator Zombie scale of 10 because TV is so well done, and aren't we so thankful that we have these
Yeah.
platforms now? I mean, network TV, God bless you, but I really love my
Whoa.
Hulu and my Shudder and my
Oh
Netflix
my
and all of my streaming
God.
services.
Well, it's like, I mean, the whole point of the show we talked about before is like we used to have to go and get our VHSs for the weekend, and now we don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, that was nostalgic to or it's nostalgic to think about it, but it's so great. We have Shudder now.
And we literally have all of these movies that would have been in the horror section. Maybe somebody
Mhm.
checked it out, maybe they didn't.
Yeah.
Now it's at our fingertips,
our
and we can just
fingertips, I
watch it on our phone
Yay.
or wherever. It's so great. So next time, we're going to maybe stay more on topic. I've been all over the map today.
No, I like it.
But we hope you guys have a great week. Make sure to email us with suggestions or tweet us or contact us somehow on social media, and also look at our YouTube channel because we're always adding extras on there.
Also, don't forget to rate, review, and rate, review, and subscribe. If you subscribe on iTunes, that's really helpful for us. And also review. Let us know what you think of our podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to hear it. So have a good week, you guys. We'll see you in the horror section.